Korean football stars Son Heung-min of Tottenham and Lee Gang-in of PSG both got into a fight during the Asian Cup. Now, what really went down? Now, before I explain, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get more content. Now, what really went down? So it turns out that Son Heung-min, the captain of South Korea during the Asian Cup, and Lee Gang-in, the star midfielder for Korea, arguably the best player on the team as of now, both engaged into a fight before the semifinals against Jordan. So what turned out was Son Heung-min was trying to get the team together during, I guess it was like a team dinner, and then Lee Gang-in just wanted no part of it. He just wanted to play ping pong, and then both of them, Son Heung-min and Lee Gang-in, got very contentious with each other. They both got into a fight. And it turned out that the fight arguably caused a dislocated finger of Son Heung-min. And then eventually, of course, they lost in the semifinals, and I think that team was just heavily distracted. They were heavily stressed, and it was due to the fact that they barely squeaked out against Saudi Arabia in the round of 16 and Australia in the quarterfinals. Now, both of them did apologize to each other, and then Lee Gang-in, he put out this huge Instagram post saying that he apologized, which I think he shouldn't have done because that just brought more fire into this whole entire story. He should have just left it under the rug. Now, here's the thing. I'm not here to commend Son Heung-min for trying to provide his leadership as a captain, and I'm not here to vilify Lee Gang-in for his insubordination and escalating the fight. What I am here for is I'm here to criticize the people above the team. We're talking about Jurgen Klinsmann, who basically allowed this whole thing to happen, and which, by the way, I was not for that hiring at all. I didn't think it was a good hire because of his failures with the United States football team, soccer team, despite his initial success in the 2014 World Cup. And also, he didn't even bring Germany a World Cup championship in 2006 because he lost to Italy, where he had a team of Mikhail Ballack, Lahm, and Miroslav Klose, and he still didn't win the World Cup with that, especially when you're the host nation. So overall, I did question the hiring. And the thing is, why did he even allow this kind of thing to happen? Because he clearly does not build a winning culture to the team. He somehow allows this whole thing to escalate. So I think this whole thing was more of a lack of leadership. But I think it gets worse than that even. I think I'm putting this on the Korean Football Association, which is arguably the most corrupt football organization that I have ever seen. I think they are more corrupt than a third world country that runs a soccer team. Now, it's one thing if you're a bad soccer team and you just suck, but this is Korea, one of the most talented Asian teams in the world, one of the most talented Asian teams in Asia, and they have gotten some success in the World Cup. Semifinals 2002, round of 16 2010, round of 16 2022. So the talent is clearly there. My problem is, it's the corruption of the Korean Football Association, where I do think that the fact that they even allowed this whole thing to leak is just pure incompetence. And I think it makes sense why they did do it, because they were under heavy fire after the fact that they hired Jurgen Klinsmann. He failed to bring Korea a championship for the Asian Cup, which they haven't won since 1960, by the way. So I guess they were looking for a distraction, and what's an easier target? Lee Gang-in, a kid who plays for PSG, superstar, which, by the way, Korea took a really long time to even let him play at a senior level until basically when Korea was down 2-0 against Ghana in the World Cup. And then once he stepped on, he immediately performed an assist, which led to Korea scoring basically the 2 goals to equalize the game. Now, they did lose the game, but that's where Lee Gang-in got his spotlight. So I think that for whatever reason, the Korean football team just doesn't like Lee Gang-in. I don't think they like his, or the association. They don't seem to like his personality because of the whole he wanted to play ping pong. Seems to be a more individualistic, egotistical something, I guess. And I guess he doesn't really kiss butt to the organization. But the thing is, South Korea, you don't really have the personnel to even replace a talent like Lee Gang-in, which, by the way, he grew up in Spain to play with the Spanish youth teams and develop his his talent there. And now you're looking to, I guess, potentially cancel this guy, which does speak pure incompetence. And it gets even worse. Now there's rumors that if Jurgen Klinsmann gets fired, they're looking at 3 Korean coaches. And one of them is Hong Myung-bo, who already failed as a coach in 2014 World Cup. Yes, despite his 2002 successes as a defensive player and the captain of the team, who then failed to coach in the 2014 World Cup because he picked scrubs like Park Ju-young, a pretty much dead striker, and Chung Sung-young, literally the worst goalkeeper Korea has ever had. And now the fact that they are considering that, so the fact that they are trying to basically frame Lee Gang-in, now they have the audacity, if they fire Jurgen Klinsmann, which I actually do see happening, they have the audacity to go over 3 Korean coaches who are clearly unqualified, and the one coach that they will never go for is Park Hang-seo, who coached the Vietnamese team, and he was the assistant to Goose Hiddink in 2002, and they also have the audacity to not even consider him as a coach. And a lot of Korean fans, including myself, we definitely want this guy. We definitely want him to be the coach because he does seem to have the experience. He brought Vietnam from the ground and made them into a respectable Southeast Asian team. But Korea won't even give this guy a chance. So I guess they're just going to keep hiring these scrubs that basically kiss ass to the Korean Football Association, but they won't take these risks. And don't forget, Park Hang-seo, he was the assistant under Goose Hiddink in the 2002 World Cup. And it just baffles me that Korea is not even giving him a chance. Because I guess he didn't even kiss ass to the Korean Football Association. I mean, it speaks volumes when you have a Korean going to another country to get a coaching job because he can't even get it in Korea, which he heavily deserves because since they had Ho Jung-moo as their coach, who was really not that great anyway, they had Hong Myung-bo, and before Hong Myung-bo, they had like Jo Kwang-rae, who was terrible, and some guy named Choi, who was also terrible, and then Shin Tae-young, who was also terrible. They just will never give Park Hang-seo a chance. And I do think that if Park Hang-seo was the coach, I don't think anything like this happens. Like, I think it does function as a great Korean football team. And the most frustrating part of this whole thing is this is probably the most talent that Korea has right now. Like, you have Son Heung-min, who is probably just peaked out of his prime. Then you got Lee Gang-in, who is in his prime to be the midfielder for PSG, who did play with Mbappe. And then you have Hwang Hee-chan, one of the best strikers in the Premier League. Like, I think that this is a golden opportunity for Korea to make a deep run in the 2026 World Cup. But because of this controversy that goes on with the Korean Football Association really not keeping things quiet and letting stories like this blow up, I don't even know if this team's going to be together or going to be able to function. Because with all this talent, it's not going to matter if you're going to hire really bad coaches. Like, I thought Jurgen Klinsmann was a terrible choice. I think it should have been Park Hang-seo after he got let go from Vietnam. But they're not going to do that because they just want coaches that will just kiss up to the organization. And that's why Korea has always played under their potential. Like, for the talent that they have, they should be at least as good as a mid-tier European team with the talent they have. But the problem is, they're just run incompetently. And they've been run absolutely incompetently since 2002. 2002, they got their one free pass because they were desperate to make a name for themselves in the 2002 World Cup. But sadly, that World Cup is tainted by a bunch of butthurt people from Italy and Spain because of, quote, Rev conspiracy. Well, if your teams were that good, especially when you had prime Italy and prime Spain when players like Xavi and Casillas were not even in their prime, you should have beat Korea anyway. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say. What a disaster of an organization the Korean football team is. But thanks for watching. I thought I'd just let something out. And I'm here to say that Lee Gang-in's not the villain, Son Heung-min's not the hero, or whatever it is. It's the Korean Football Association that allows this kind of stuff to happen. And not only allows a coach to allow the situation to escalate, but to also basically let a story like this leak out. And you see countries, especially like England, they could sense that the Korean Football Association was up to something. They were up to some kind of conspiracy. So who knows what's going to happen? Korea doesn't really play until March for the 2026 World Cup qualifications, but things really do look bleak. But I'm just going to leave it out there. Those are my thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching this video. And did you know that I actually have other videos about Korean soccer? Go ahead and check these videos out.